Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Not Worth a Cork podcast edition. They are in our remote locations, secret on the classified mission, but we're still finding some time to try and entertain you lovely people with our whiskey boomerang. Joining me tonight, as ever, is Meg. Hello, Meg.
Sup?
Yes, I'm obviously Dave Bay, and we shall be whiskeying.
Yeah, we don't really have a theme for this, do we? Beyond one theme that I noticed just before we hopped over to Discord. Because
You managed to find a theme on a different version of the website to what I was looking at.
Yeah, so I for the YouTube side of this, I pulled up tasting notes, and I will link them on Discord as well for you guys that want to listen. I noticed on the Jura website that the first whiskey, well, the one main, both of us, David's main is a Jura, and it's finished in a Jerez cask, or casks from Spain, Oloroso casks. Yeah. And I realised, well, I was going to pull out my whiskey shop exclusive Ben Riach port cask that's peated, but I thought, well, I've got the Macallan Night on Earth Jerez, and I thought, well, why don't I just open that, my birthday whiskey? You know, this way I get to actually taste it, and I'll find out if I actually remember it or not. I don't remember much,
because that was had as part of the blur. Which you can hear all about on our January Madness story episode.
Yes, that was. It was certainly something. I don't remember too many of the whiskies, and I was writing my notes last night for those, and I did remember. I remembered some very strong vanillas and a butterscotch one from an earlier Octomore, I believe, which was quite unusual. But I couldn't remember the Macallan, so I left that in the Glen Elgin blank because I couldn't remember. And I thought, well, as we're doing this, winner, winner, I get to try this and, well, see if I like it or not. Well, yes, I'm off the Chimpkin for a while, to be fair. I had some beef and a sandwich earlier, which was nice, though. Chimpkin dinner. Not right now.
Still full from 2 weeks ago.
I need to lose the weight, okay? I've been putting on weight and I'm not okay with it. Alright, so I'm going to open my very complicated box to get my Macallan out. Macallan is obviously overrated, as David number 2 had told us when we met him, until I offered him a glass, in which case he was like, oh!
Yeah, so overrated, he very quickly said yes.
He said quickly yes to 2 glasses, one which was this one at 43%, the other one was 60.5%, and he was like, yes. Oh,
hello. I don't
know if you heard that, but it's quite nice. I've got a glass, I just used it for Twitch, and it's got smoke in it. I forgot to buy water up here. I'm going to have to use a beer glass, a swirly beer glass, because I don't have any glasses to hand in here. The others are to be washed. So we're going to be a bit of a peasant this evening. Uncultured one, although it could be considered a slightly wider Capita glass. Actually, yes, that could be, and I'm not launching that at the floor because Richard Patterson is slightly wrong on that one.
Yes, don't Dalmore hands under it.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Richard Patterson, he did it with the Dalmore as a meme. Well, he did it because it was White and Mackay as well, he was tasting. But then I discovered recently he's actually the master blender at Dalmore, which makes so much sense to know that he's that guy.
Access to that stuff, so it's
exactly.
Just like this again.
Like King Alexander probably is a blended malt anyway. Just makes sense, and obviously you're blending different casks. It makes perfect sense. But still, yes, I'm not doing that with this because, well, I generally don't make it a point to launch whiskey unless it's in a certain territory I call shitski.
Yeah.
And that's normally the bottle, not a glass of it, because that means the bottle's been left behind, and I don't want the bottle.
Yeah, I think the last whiskey you launched was my Fiddick 12 from the stream, wasn't it?
Yeah, it didn't sit well with the quality of the other whiskies. And it's Bri, if you're having a drink, do let us know, because we know you've not been very well, for those who don't know on Discord. I should have put the chat on Discord up here so people could see it. Bry's not been very well. His sherry cask medicine seems to have yielded a positive outcome. Very happy for you. Hope you're doing well today. Yes, I've got some tasting notes as well. We're going to talk about those soon. What are we going to start with? Oh, we'll start with your Jura, actually.
Some info about
Sorry?
the Jura, and
Yeah.
I did pull up some info about the Jura, but apparently didn't manage to find the same thing you did.
Well, that's the same website I just Googled and got different to you, apparently. But yeah, if you want to talk about that for a minute, obviously, for those who don't know, I this is one of 2 bottles definitively that I bought for David. I'm going to say that because there's a bit of open to interpretation. We don't need that. Every year I buy my family January treats, and last 2 years I've just given David money instead, and then he buys the treats instead because then he picks what he wants. And you got 2 pretty damn good treats, to be fair.
Yeah, no, Dave did pretty well out of the whiskey shopping madness from the treats.
You got the Jura. What was the other bottle you bought?
So the second day.
Yeah.
Day 2, day 3. How many days did we go? Day 2. So day 2, I got the Jura and the Blair Athol.
No, Blair Athol was there last week.
No, that was last week. Yes,
Yep.
no, it was.
Was
That's
it-
true.
was it-
the
was it
Jura
the
and
Kalila?
the Ejidar.
No, Ejidar was bought. You bought that separately on the night. You bought the Balvenie and the Kilchoman and the Kalila.
No, I didn't buy the Ejidar on the night.
You did. Oh, you did buy the next day, didn't you?
Yeah, I bought the Ejidar next day and I bought the Jura.
But I thought you were going to buy the Jura with your own money because you really enjoyed it. Or was it because of... No, you're right. You did. You bought a collection piece and something else. Yeah, you're right. Very well. I stand corrected.
As you can tell, we have such fond memories of this that we can't remember exactly what we did.
Fam, I know vaguely what I bought that day as well, but only because I've got the receipts. And they're all in my...
I do not have the receipts.
Because I've been so busy since I got home after that. I say busy and meh. My living room's a bit of a mess, and I won't be able to sort that out until this weekend now. It was meant to be this weekend, but just gone, but it has to be the following. But sorry for interrupting. The Jura, yes. Why did you want it?
We've enjoyed Jura for a while, to be fair, and the Jura Origins is... to be fair, actually, I say Origins. Origins, Superstition,
Prophecy.
Something else. I've got some of the old school range still going, and obviously they've since relaunched some of those and replaced them with different flavour profiles for the different ages, and different variations have been named or aged rather than having the names.
Right.
But they did always do a 16, which we didn't actually ever have, I don't believe. But this is their new line of new whiskey, but this is a 16-year-old, so it's supposed to a little bit pay homage to the Durac Zone, which was their old 16.
What is Durac again?
But it's Durac is the Celtic or something word, something to do with whiskey and blending or something.
Yeah. So years ago,
it is a whiskey-related term.
Whiskey Club, they had of their own years ago, and you get a pin badge.
Yeah.
Remember that? And it had the Durac symbol on it.
Yes.
Or it was it looked more like a fractal, but it was their symbol for Jura, interwoven, bit of a tartan theme-ish in the way it linked together. And hello Yempi, hello German, and Bry's drinking Jameson 5 Wood, 5 Oak. Sorry, not 5 Wood. I have a bottle of the triple because I saw it for £24 and thought I got £24. Bosh.
Like when science.
I like Jameson.
Yeah.
I saw it was cheap.
And we are, of course, looking forward to the chestnut cask that it is made of.
Yeah, that has my attention, I will admit. I would have considered having it this evening, but because on Twitch I got the smoky whiskey, I thought I'm not doing 3 glasses on Monday, no. How dare you VC so early? Well, I have to go back to the house at some point and unmeh my head, so we started a bit early. Also, David's at his parents. It's not right to be streaming or doing this too late. Very rude and discourteous to his family, even if he has consigned himself to a small room again. Like good old days, eh, David?
Reasonable sized room.
Hey, should we just go back there and get the couch back in that small living room we used to have and just do an old FIFA sesh? Drinking Johnny Walker Black until 2 in the morning with your dad telling us off because we're too loud.
Yeah.
Me
have to find a
drunkenly,
sofa somewhere to use,
yeah,
but
me drunkenly going for a walk and rolling my ankle in a pothole in the back of the fields.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Jura, what I'll do, I'll put the link for it for those on Discord. I will put it in the bar for you to look at. This is Jura perspective number 1. This is where I found out that the cask finish meant that I could open the Macallan. I'm quite interested to see what you think about this, because obviously I'm not drinking this. You are.
Yeah. Well, I'm quite interested because, as I say, both of us have been on the Jura website to find information about this, and both of us have managed to somehow find a different page on the Jura website that has slightly different information.
If you could,
So we did well with our prep.
Can you link your page? See if everyone else gets different results as well.
Shall put mine under yours in the bar.
I'll put the screen capture on so you can. People who watch this on YouTube can see the whiskey in question. I know nothing about this whiskey. It's a 16 as well, which is a very unusual year, I think. And there's a couple I've heard of. You've got a Glenmorangie that's a 16, the tribute one, isn't it?
Yes,
no,
tribute.
Nectar d'Oz as well, isn't it?
Yes, one of them is, isn't it?
Yeah, mine's a 15, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mine's just the Nectar. No, mine's a 12, the Nectar. Isn't it? 16? You know what, I can't remember. Glenmorangie
the really old one was supposed to be a 16, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think
all this has just they've confused me, so I'll leave them be. Yeah, I'm interested in know what you think of this. And by the way, their website is beautifully laid out. It's a lot easier to use than some.
I don't know. The Nectar is the 16. The Nectar d'Or was what people thought was a 16, but wasn't.
Oh yeah, it was just a 12 because it was Sauternes. Yeah, 10 years in standard, 2 years in Sauternes. I got a 16. Okay, still it's an unusual age. I think Bushmills is a 16 as well, but standard 16s is not a thing. It's 12, 15, 18, or 10, 12, and 15. And I still want to find.
Balvenie do a 16?
Balvenie do a lot of 12s and 14s. I noticed that.
Do a 17.
I was looking for your tasting notes for your week of peat 14-year-old. I put Balvenie 14, and I got about 4 different 14s in there.
Yeah.
I thought that's fair. You know, you're gonna take your 12s and then just do that to your 14s as well. That's cool. It really is. But I can't be asked. I was trying to write whiskey notes with a cat attacking my desk the whole time. It was absolute cancer. But they're all in there now.
Tilly does seem to have tried to get in on the licked by phase, doesn't she? And trying to lick everything of yours to own it.
I now can confirm. I know in my new book, starting with the Dalmores to all the stuff we sampled, I have put 29 new entries in my new book. This includes all the extra stuff I wanted to put on the side, like limited cask numbers and when we tried it, whether I want a bottle of it or whether you can buy a bottle of it, the cost of the bottle as well. Yeah, a third of the book is full already. That's book number 3. This is not good. It's very enthusiastic. I need to make a database on the computer with all of them in, so I know which book has the notes, so I don't end up like making mistakes. I can search for them. You know what I mean?
Just get up on a floppy drive.
I don't know if the floppy drive had enough space for it, but I could certainly put it on like my old memory stick that I bought. That was the first thing I bought from university. It was like I think I got it from a freaking. I swear I got it from like those food dispensers, but I had a memory card thing instead at UEA. I could have sworn that's where I got from one of those. A machine that just gave me.
They had one in the library, didn't they?
Yeah, it was like 128 megabytes, and it's still got all my notes on it from uni. Because I compressed the files like 7 times. I did something stupid with them. It worked. Anyway, since we haven't heard a cork pop, can we get a cork pop?
I don't have a bottle. I just poured some into a sample to bring.
I'll do it for you. Hang on.
I'm afraid. Sorry.
Hang on.
Oh.
You're welcome. That cork has been well and truly popped. I think I've got another one to hand.
Like
that might be a bit more authentic. Sorry, I put the English.
You'll be making a joke out of this.
I'm sure she will be. I can't see the chat. I assume you can, because if I tab out, the tasting notes will vanish.
Yes. Well, she hasn't yet, but I'm sure it will be coming.
German's got a German. So, this says the colour is sienna gold. I don't know what sienna is, but alright. The ABV is 46.5.
Goldy colour, but I don't know, yeah. I don't know
Fair
what
enough.
sienna's meant to be.
46.5 is 93 proof. Hope it's delicious. What do you think so far of the smell? Blah.
Well, I've had a good sniff. I've blown the alcohol and
Good man,
enjoyed
good
a
man.
deep sniff or two. I am definitely getting the sort of citrusy fruitiness
Got any
and
nuts in
some. I guess it will be the coastal. It's sort of a little bit salty,
there? Yeah?
which I guess probably it says salted toffee and coastal. I'm not sure I can get any
Well,
toffee, but it's,
generally I find with island whiskies there is a saltwater kind of there's definitely something salt related, but the coastal maritime feel is there. Actually, going back for a sec to whiskey notebooks, so I've been making a mistake for the longest time. Yeah. Okay, right. So because I fumbled that for a second. Can you name some of your favourite region Highland whiskies, please?
hang on. Are you saying you've been writing it down wrong in the book where it says region?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Name some of your favourite Highland whiskies, please.
Well, Glenlivet is a Highland. Dalmore.
Keep going.
See, this one you always do. You put me on the spot, and I can never remember what ones are Highlands.
Okay. Glenmorangie, yeah.
Oh yeah, Glenmorangie, of course.
Highland
Yeah.
Park, yeah.
Well, yeah, that.
No,
Orkney,
it's an
though,
it's
isn't
an
it? So
island. It's an island,
Yeah.
and I've been writing it wrong for years. Didn't know that. I've been doing it wrong. I don't regret this because the thing is, you have to be specific because, and I was going to quote Lewis here from like the Suits thing about Laura is very specific and all that, but apply it to whiskey as well. But I can't remember the exact quote, so I ballsed it. But in the context of of the regions, a lot of Speyside, all of them are Highlands, but they're not. Glenlivet is also considered a Speyside. So I think I consider it a Speyside anyway because of where it's actually from. Highland Park, in its name, is Highland.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's an island like Talisker, like Jura, like so many, in fact. And that annoys me because it can't be a Highland then, can't it? Can it?
No. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because it is literally called Highland Park.
Yeah, it pisses me off a little bit, to be honest. Okay, well, tell us what you think of the flavour of this delightful nectar, and don't forget to gulp it down so we can all hear it. Look. Are you working tomorrow, by the way?
No, I'm off tomorrow.
Man, you get so much time off, you dosser.
That's just my regular day off tomorrow. So, I'm reading the tasting notes. I don't know if I know what white peach tastes like. Honey, yes.
White peach.
Citrusiness, yes. Cassia, again, I have no idea what that is.
I've seen that word, but I don't know what that is.
Cacao nib.
Let's find out. Sorry.
Maybe something that could be that. Salted toffee, again, saltedness,
Oh,
yes. Walnuts,
cassia is
yes,
Chinese
nuttiness as
Chinese cinnamon.
Oh, okay. That probably explains the warmth then.
Cassia, yeah. Right, cinnamon, which is how you pronounce it. Cinnamon mum. Yeah. Chinese cassia, Chinese cinnamon, evergreen tree from southern China. Go figure. Fair enough.
That would explain as it towards the back of your mouth there is a layer of heat. So that could explain that then if it's got that element of cinnamon. I know cinnamon's not sort of hot, spicy, but it is obviously a spicy flavour in some respects.
Yeah.
That is very nice. Warming finish, yes. Long warming finish, I would agree. That's very smooth. Very enjoyable.
How much was this? Do you remember?
£70,
Yeah,
roughly.
Because I think the Edredale was $130, wasn't it? And did I use one of my discounts to get your price down a bit?
I can't remember if it was on those ones or the other ones. One of us used a discount.
Well, I had plenty of discounts. I know I made more than one voucher because I looked at my vouchers yesterday, how many I'd redeemed in my history, and I know I did 2 on that day. One was definitely done on the Spey malt. I don't know if I did it for anything else in the shop because I don't remember what, the Macallan maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yes, you did for the Macallan, actually, yes.
I know I did more than one though, so you do wonder.
Yeah, I think you did one for one of mine, and I did one of mine for this, for the two combined, to get it into what I had to spend.
Oh, fair enough.
Because this is what put you a pound over, wasn't
Yeah, 2 technically now.
it?
Anyway, okay, so no regrets buying this one then.
It's very nice. It's not. I mean, it's 46.5%, so it's around the area we tend to find we sit at now as sort of a comfortable measure.
It feels like the Bunnahabhain.
Doesn't
It's 0.2% higher, but it's Bunnahabhain territory.
Yeah, doesn't come across as being overtly strong, overtly spirity. So it's very smooth. It's very pleasant. It is quite light. There's a little bit of heat. No, it's very enjoyable.
So
Definitely a good buy.
I've noticed
Not
with
100% sure you'd know it was a 16-year-old whiskey based on age character,
yeah.
but
So I've noticed
we
with a
don't
lot
have many
of
of them to compare. So
fair enough. I've noticed with a lot of Jerez that I don't notice that spirity quality in any but one. Maybe 2, but one was the winter one because it seemed redundant. It felt cobbled together just to jump on a bandwagon. And the other was the Origin. No, not Origin. What's that entry one they have? Journey? They're just the begin. It's the entry one. I think it is Journey. That's the entry level one.
Yes, I think the Journey was what came out between the old range and the new range, wasn't it?
I feel like a lot of the entry
Before
ones.
they re-released the 10.
Yes, I feel like a lot of the entry ones fall into the category of shitski slightly, because they only really exist as either a cost saver, so you can make more of it, or as an excuse to make old fashions and whiskey sours, right? Oh,
Yeah.
right, unless you're creative and you want to make a rusty nail, of course, because Drambuie is amazing. But generally, these are kind of pointless whiskies. Those ones.
The red wine cask is again, that's a bit
Which
spirity.
one?
I mean, it does
Which
give you
one?
some. The Jura.
Well, they've got an 18 this red one as well, isn't it?
Oh, okay. Just the
Standard
unaged, just the generic red wine cask one.
That only exists because
no age statement.
the 18 is too expensive for it. I fully get it because they're trying to keep up. A lot of the companies are doing that to try and get on top of like Tamna Vulin, but you're not going to be able to compete with Tamna on that one because they got to it quicker and they branched out.
I suspect that one's the case. So we bought X number of barrels for the 18. We haven't used them all, so okay, we'll just dump some of this stuff in there and give it 3 years and call it.
What they probably do is use it up as many times as they can get good Jura out of it for the 18s, and then use it for the red wine finish ones. Although I've noticed a few supermarkets are now getting rid of, like Sainsbury's don't have the pale ale or the bourbon cask in anymore. So I can imagine they're being phased out. I have bottles of those. I like the pale ale one. That's not bad. I do like pale ale ones. Hoppy sort of flavours are quite nice. I don't like beer, but I like that. It's like the wine thing. I don't like wine, but I like wine cask.
Yeah, I think I've had the bit of your pale ale one, but I don't own that one.
Yeah, I have the pale ale. I think I've got the bourbon one as well behind the bar. Not that I've been behind there in a while, and nor will I for quite some time, in fact. Well, maybe in March. Dad's here at some point. Yeah.
Definitely some drinking then.
Oh, he can. I can't be asked. I'll have to get out of this madness first. Yeah, I found with Juras generally none of them are that bad. Although now we know, sort of blow into the glass a bit first, swill it around, get a sniff. Like the lighter flavours come through, and I kind of want to try this out on some of the more ostentatious. Like I have the Jura. You have Jura 18, don't you? No?
No.
I thought you might have. Okay, you got Jura 16. I've got Jura 21, which is a madness. And I kind of want to.
Time, haven't you?
Yeah, I really want to, at some point, go back to it and have another sit and just. Yeah. I was thinking if I can. Obviously, I'm coming up to yours at some point in the summer to go on an adventure. bringing up one of my bottles with me and trying to get David into the shop again and bring that along, or bring a bottle along. And Jura 21 might be a shout, or Singleton 21. You never know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I've got the Bourbon, Journey, Origin 10, Red Wine Cask, Superstition, and Winter, and now Perspectives.
Get rid of that Winter. It's pointless.
I haven't opened the Winter.
You may as well just finish it, because this one's an Oloroso sherry anyway. It's seasoned Oloroso sherry casks from Jerez. It says so on the cask finishes on the page. Out of curiosity, so you mentioned the flavours. Is there anything there that you don't recognise? Is there anything there listed you don't see? And I mention this because I saw something the other day that intrigued me. I was looking at tasting notes on either the Whiskey Shop or another one of those whiskey websites. And I think it might be the Whiskey Exchange. They actually put two people who had tasted it, their own tasting notes, and they never aligned completely. And I found that fascinating. That tells you more about how the person's tongue works, right? Is there anything listed here that doesn't, you did pick up on?
I wouldn't say. Well, I don't know what exactly a white peach tastes like, but if it's just normal peach, I wouldn't say I could taste sort of that level of
pear
fruitiness. The fruitiness is more on the nose than it is on the palate.
Earlier, you didn't say peach, you said pear. Now I've read it and it says peach. I was confused from it. That's why I didn't know what a white pear was either.
Apologies. No, if I said pear, I did mean peach. I did say peach, but
that was much earlier on when you first did it. But
it's
honey, white peach.
I mean, honey, yes, the smoothness and the sweetness. There is a little bit of a citrusness, and the cassia, if that is like a cinnamon, then that makes sense for the heat. Cow nib, I guess, perhaps. There's a not when you've got it in your mouth, but once you've drunk it and you sort of try and explain that one on a voice chat. But when you sort of just move your mouth around a bit, you can feel like you get when you get chocolate, like dark chocolate in your mouth, that kind of residual sort of coating.
Just a quick thing, because you may not have noticed this. Book of True Passion, thank you, Yempi. Dave, do you have your collection listed in an Excel spreadsheet? He actually does have a list on a device somewhere, so he knows exactly what he has.
Google Sheets, but yes.
I have access to that, by the way, and I still haven't used it. I really should just use that, but I can't be asked. I will. So I might do it this weekend. I've got to do other things, though. Yeah.
Need to update it.
Yeah, same. That's the other reason why I don't want to just yet. Out of curiosity, are there other Jura perspectives? Is it perspective or prospective? ER or RO?
ER,
right,
perspective.
Are there any others so far, or?
No, this is the first one.
Because there are a few other whiskey series I'd noticed of late that are stopping at like 5. And I can't remember what it was I saw. It wasn't Macallan, Night on Earth. Oh, actually, I did find something. Okay, we'll get to mine in a second. But I found some other series stuff that were ending after like 5. And I wonder where Jura intend to go, because we don't have an age statement for Superstition or Prophecy, do we? And I'd love for them to bring those back. I really want to try the heavily peated one, because we never got that. We both have the same lightly peated one. Obviously, mine's a birthday whiskey, and I would love nothing more than to replenish it. But to buy a bottle to replenish is £400. It is not worth £400.
No, not when it was about £35 new.
Yeah, I think I bought mine from. That was one of the. I think that might have been the very first bottle I bought from the whiskey shop. That might have been it, because I don't think you'd have gotten that in any supermarket. I think that is a birthday whiskey.
I don't think so. No.
I can confirm.
Not then, anyway. It would have been a bit too.
I will confirm, because I have a Discord with a few things on. My birthday whiskey Jura is 26, so it would have been just. That would have been about right, actually.
Yeah.
26th birthday, that would have been the whiskey shop. That would have. I haven't actually updated that to include my one, but I'll get to that later. Okay. Are you happy with this purchase, out of curiosity?
Yes, I am. I think this is one that is very drinkable, so I imagine that I will actually have a fair amount of this. This is one probably Dad would like as well. I don't have enough of this with me for him to try some tonight because I have the other one that I was going to pour some for him if we did that. But
I'm sure you do, because I'm sure your dad will love a glass. Okay, so I just wanted to, before I move on to mine, when David says he's going to drink something and maybe enjoy more of it, chances are he'll open something else later and then be like, oh, I'll open that, and then he'll move on and do something. He does that. If Dad tells him off for it, it's funny. How old are you again?
yes.
Old
and
enough,
also, no.
old enough to be told off by your father. Congratulations.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions about the Jura, do ask. We, of course, appreciate any and all comments in the barracks. If not, we'll move on to number 2, which is on the screen for those who are watching this on Not With the Cork. For the chat, I'll link it. It is the Macallan A Night on Earth in Jerez. Is this resplendent, ostentatious piece of bollocks. It is it's part number 4 of the series. Now, I did a little digging because I couldn't work out what one I was missing.
Yeah, see, I've been looking into this as well.
Technically, I'm not missing any because numbers 1 and 2 are in Scotland.
Yes, I found that out as well. I can't work out how you tell if there's a difference between which one it is.
I think the difference is the interior of the boxes, but I couldn't be certain. And this is the thing: the box on this, as you can tell, that exterior looks quite, Well, that lid lifts up. Inside is another box on the inside. Sorry, the box opens up outwards first. Sorry, as in half, and then inside there's a box with a lid you open up. And then you pull a slidey bit out of card, so you can leave the bottle out. I've got the last 3. In Scotland, The Journey, and this one, 2 of which have been dipped in biscuits by some dickhead. Hi, David. This one has not. Last year,
What are you talking about?
indeed, it's not on the first stream we did last year. This was last year's journey. I think it was meant to be on birthday whiskey, but the rules on my birthday whiskey is the first one to touch my hand is the birthday whiskey. So David gave me a bottle of Loch Lomond Classic, the classic, and that. Very nice, very smooth, very drinkable. I've actually put a couple samples I had of standard Loch Lomond into it because they were the same. So the one last year became more of a treat. This year, this one is definitively a birthday whiskey, and it was a ball ache to get, which we talked about on the Madness Adventures episode. I'm happy to paraphrase here.
There is a picture in the bar of the ostentatious box open.
Oh yes, great. Yes. I just realised there was a sound behind me. It was Sizzles, one of my dogs. She was scratching behind the chair. I was a bit paranoid there was a cat on the roof or something. Anyway, so basically I wanted this bottle, but there weren't many bottles available because popular. And I mean, it's not too expensive either, to be fair. And David went into the whiskey shop. The guy ordered 2, took one on the day, had one ordered in essentially. I went in 2 weeks later. He hadn't paid for it. The guy in the shop emailed him twice. Are you really making those noises from behind me? Okay. You
While Meg is distracted by dog, we don't have a shared file. Come on, Bri. Look at the way we treat the bottles. We try and lick each other's bottles of whiskey to claim them. Do you really think a shared spreadsheet file would survive?
Calm down. Right.
It would be carnage. We'd change things. We'd put other bottles into each other's lists. It would never work.
The first thing I know he'd do for certain is he'd take my January treats and be like, well, they belong to David now. Why? Because it's on the spreadsheet. It says so. Thus is written. Thus is law, right? That bottle
never lies.
But the Bunnahabhain 30 cost you 600. Are you? No. It cost me 600 of nothing. So anyway, the Macallan. I went in on the Friday and said, if I said we were coming after a tasting evening. I said if I'm coming back in tomorrow, if the guy hasn't, I'll buy it. And eventually did buy it because, well, the guy had already had about 7 or 8 glasses as well and was like, "Fuck it, I'll sell it to you." And he did. I got a little discount, so I got it down to about £90, I think, which was perfectly fine. It's one of the more ostentatious ones. My January treat from 2 years ago is a bottle of this, the A Night on Earth in Scotland. The boxes are they
A
take up
whiskey
some
for
space.
dipping.
Agree to disagree. This one is much like the previous one and the one before, differently presented, but the boxes are the same. It's just the art on it and the messages. On the back, what does it say? Has stuff. Oh, I have nose, taste, and finish as well. Okay. It's a Highland, this is. It's also a Speyside, depending on your interpretation of things. Because here it says Speyside region. On the box, Highland single malt Scotch whisky, which is incorrect because you can't call it Scotch. But all right. It says, in many cultures around the world, the year's end is a time for togetherness, Blair. A night to be with the people we love the most, to reflect on what has passed. Are you snorting behind me? Oh, God. What is she doing? Do forgive. Go lay down, please. Come on. Stop being such a douche, okay? Here, have a biscuit. Sorry, guys. I'm going to give my dog a biscuit. Here. There's 2 treats for you. Go on.
Unfortunately, have ADH dog in the cabin with Meg and Wizzy tonight, and Sizzle tends not to sit still or be calm.
Sorry.
Or anything.
Anyone on YouTube who watches this, I do apologise, but my 2 cavaliers are polar opposites. The first paragraph is basically
The only being Macallan, of course, is probably world famous as a Speyside.
Yeah. Even though on the box it says Highland single malt.
Yeah.
But then all Speysides are Highlands, aren't they? The Macallan A Night on Earth in Jerez de la Frontera is a limited edition single malt Scotch whisky matured in exceptional sherry seasoned oak casks and inspired by the year-end traditions in the home of sherry wine, deep in the Andalusia in southern Spain. So, same like your Jura, it is sherry seasoned oak casks from Jerez. So it's the same, but again, a different region, right? I'm assuming Jura can also be considered a Highland. There are no tasting notes really on here. It has tasting note by the producer, but not much information at all. And there are no reviews for this. I would be oh, hello, what's this down here? Singleton 39. What? These
there were
notes.
no reviews for the Jura either. I think it's too new still at the minute.
The Macallan Night on Earth is a lot harder to get reviews for because there aren't many of them. Oh, sorry. 4. So, on the back of the box, it says, colour, it's in Spanish, naranja quemado. So, orange, quesadilla. So, I assume orange cheese. Orange wa madu. I don't speak loser, I'm sorry. We haven't forgiven you €4. I had been swilling this for a little while and I was blowing into it, and on the nose, honey-coated somethings, pestiños. I have no... Why in Spanish? I'm English, shut up. Sweet raisins, cinnamon, anise, rich oak, and vibrant citrus. Smells like whiskey to me. Although it does smell better than last time because I got completely bamboozled with extra tasters of Secret Orkney or whatever it was, which is clearly a Highland. Obviously it was.
Yes, I think it was the Secret Orkney that interloped.
Yeah, and that's not exactly an easy whiskey to drink next to this, which was like the lightest whiskey next to the Irishman. Maybe the Field and Rye as well, which is an English one. This collaborative effort on the front does actually say pastry, grapes, and anise, and is in a collaboration with Maria Melero, who is undoubtedly a hipster douche that needs to be introduced to the bottom end of this, to the face, because this is stupid. I'll taste it now. Oh, by the way, you didn't do the 16 seconds on yours.
No, I can go back to that in due course. That's fine. Yeah, I've managed to find on Hard to Find Whiskey a slightly more amount of tasting note.
On mine
Slightly.
or yours?
On yours.
Oh, right, good. We'll get to that in a second. I've just had a little sip. I don't regret buying this at all. Just going to say that now. It's quite nice. It's very sweet. White grapes, honey glazed almonds, vanilla, balanced spices, hints of fresh rosemary. I only ever use rosemary for steak. But okay. White grape. Which one's white? Is white grape the green one? Or is that a different one entirely?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, white grapes are green.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, is that what it's meant? Is that what they say? Or is there actually
Yes.
a white grape?
No, that would be because that's what you'd use for a white wine. So that is a white grape.
I think you're taking the piss out of me for a second there. I thought you were taking the piss.
Would I do that?
Yes, we've been friends for nearly 18
Yes,
years. Of course, you bloody would. No, yeah, okay. I prefer red grapes, but yeah, okay. Which is strange again because the whole wine thing isn't that from grape, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like everything that goes into wine. It's just not the product.
It's not the final product. Maybe it's something to do with people crushing the grapes with their feet.
They still do that. Considering how much wine is, don't tell me Lambrini's done the same way.
I think the cheap stuff is factory made, but the expensive stuff is still done properly.
Properly. Fair enough. The finish, sweet, vibrant, and warming, so very minimal on the taste notes. You say you have slightly more comprehensive notes for me, yes?
No, I don't, because I've basically got what you've got, which is more than I found on the other sites, but apparently is exactly what you've got on where you found it or the bottom.
And Yempi,
The only one thing I have got is on the palate, sweet pastry. As an additional.
I had that as well, and I ignored it because I was like, sweet pastry's a tricky one because what am I supposed to be able to get? What, a fruity croissant? Like, come on. I can get that from Pret. You've asked here. You've said here you should use rosemary for your hair. Maybe I should, but my hair's perfectly fine. So maybe. I hear people don't use that oil instead. That stupid bollocks oil. It was all over the internet. People were selling rosemary oil or something. You rub it into your scalp, a few drops into your scalp to help your hair. Yeah, because that totally works. It's like Alpacin. Good luck with caffeine shampoo, you losers.
Yeah, I found something slightly different on House of Malt.
Okay, good website.
So nose, aromatic blend of honey-coated pistino, sweet raisins, cinnamon and anise, layered with rich oak, vibrant citrus for a lively, inviting fragrance.
Yep.
Palate, sweet and textured with flavours of pastry, white grapes, honey glazed and vanilla and balanced spices, mingle with a hint of fresh rosemary. It's a little bit different.
So I'm gonna
sweet, warming finish, vibrant, leaving lingering notes of honey, soft spice, and a touch of citrus.
So the finish was a bit more informative. I don't want to be that. I'm going to be a bit of a dick. I actually ignored a fair bit on the palette because like it was just the same. I think they copy pasted the palette slightly. Just added a couple of adjectives just to make it seem like a bit more going on.
Yeah.
Hang on, is it adjective or is it noun?
Yes.
Okay, good. English isn't my thing, okay? I still don't know which one's which. No, I quite like this. It's quite nice. I'd love to do a comparison, obviously, because I've got 3 of them. I'd love to do a comparison. I think that'd be kind of nice. Because this one, because the first one I said tasted like shortbread, and it does. And the last one tasted like London cheesecake, coconut icing and pastry. This one, I don't actually know what food it tastes like. There is a slight edge of spirity, which I'm trying to remove, but my nose has decided to malfunction slightly. I'm sniffing, and I don't know why it's closed a bit, but I don't know what it is I'm trying to taste or smell. Because it does lean into the pastry side, but I feel like it's trying to get me down a path of pastry that I'm not familiar with. Because it's putting like anise and grapes with pastry. What pastries exist with that in? Like, who's buying?
Grapes in it, to be fair.
Sorry?
Not many with grapes in them.
I can't imagine there are many with licorice in either.
No.
Can you imagine that? Oh, I'd like my licorice turnover, please. Sure. You uncultured swine. Try eating that molten lava of tar. Oh, jeez. I'll never come up with teeth. I don't know what this is meant to be like this time. Which I might argue is the weaker of the 3, but only because I think it needs more time just to work it out. It could also be the receptacle I'm using, because it's not exactly ideal. Although it's not the worst one. It is curved. It's a bit curved beer glass, so it does actually work. But maybe not. I don't know. It's quite nice though.
So just as a separate, I'm just saying on Master of Malt,
Where I am,
Night on Earth in Scotland 2021 and Night on Earth in Scotland 2022.
yeah. Do I need
One of them
to?
is sold out. Both are £200 though.
Yeah, but mine are open, so it means nothing. Do I need to go and check
Yeah,
which one I have or
if I
something?
can see a difference.
Let's go and have a look. Night on Earth in Scotland. Right, we have two. Oh, they're slightly different in colour. So this is 2021.
Yeah, that's about it.
First in the series, let's see. Aged in American European oak sherry season casks, and this one is bourbon barrels. It's the same. Yeah, they're both the same.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Back here. Oh, loser.
Shortbread and shortbread.
You know what? I'm going to stay here on this one. This is not the one I'm currently using, but apparently my browser decided to go all the way back to the very start to Google instead, and I can't be asked. You're welcome. Okay, well, I'm going to put the whiskey selection back up instead. Bosh. Just a thing for those who are seeing this on YouTube, there will not be a picture like this next year. It's too much. It's a bit on the mental side. I wish we'd thought about this ahead of time. We could have I could have sorted out a sample before I left Norwich, obviously. That would have made this a bit more interesting, I guess, for us both to try it. But we are going to be, and we'll do this public service announcement, we are going to be doing streams. We just don't know how we're going to do them just yet, because we're going to be stuck for a while, a few months, I'm afraid. Sorry about that. But we will be doing some in the near future. Out of curiosity, David, you there?
Yes.
Have you got your stopwatch ready?
I can prepare.
Cool. Months gasp.
That's a calculator. That's not the right thing.
So yes, Yempi months. Sadly, we can't do these streams in person for a long time. At the moment, anyway. We don't know how long for just yet. And no, we're not going to say why, because that's just no. Just at the moment, we're stuck for the time being. But you never know. I had said to David it might be the case that I'll do a flyby up his end, come up on a Saturday, do a stream, go home on Sunday, hungover. But it's expensive. It's like 60 quid a time. I can't always spend that money doing that. But we'll see. We'll see.
See how things pan out.
Failing to plan is planning to fail. Agreed. This is why we've been talking about what we have available and what topics we want to look at, what themes. Like the Singleton one was easy because we had samples of it, but we don't know what to go with next, and we're struggling a little. Dave's pregnant. Weirdly, I don't know if you've noticed this, Yems, but I've seen a lot of couples on YouTube now. A lot of them are announcing pregnancies. A lot of them are younger than me, and I'm like, oh, you made mistakes, did you? Congratulations. Now, why are you in my feed? I don't care.
And we do have the, assuming you can sort out the delivery of it, we do have the runs to do.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Course.
So she did get back to me and say she'll send me a link to pay for the postage, which is fine. I'll do it this time. I've altered your address as well to make sure. What they did was they moved your postcode to mobile number, and your mobile number was actually moved somewhere else. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Useful.
Yeah,
just what you need.
Yeah, so I've changed that. It's done. But if not, I'll just send another one. I don't care. I really don't. Train went by at 4 a.m. and they struggled to fall asleep. Very true. It did. But yeah, no,
we do like trains.
We do like trains, yes. I'll on OBS move us back here because it makes more sense. Yeah. Anyway, we
have.
Oh, you got it.
Stopwatch ready whenever.
Right, go for it. Go for it. Okay. So
right.
This will be a chance for David. Fantastic. This will be a chance for David to tell us whether on the palate, especially, knows obviously he can't sniff for 16 seconds. He hasn't got the ability, just knows his size to inhale for 16 seconds unless it's slow drawn. But the palate and the finish are the main ones. So whether or not he can get more pronounced nutty notes in his mouth, so all that nut, the cinnamon, the chocolate nut in his mouth, the salted toffee, because there's always a salty finish somewhere. But there's a bit of oily quality to it.
Having to say things on here to really wind up Leona later when she listens back. I
I
tell you what,
didn't.
that is nice though.
I didn't say
That
nut.
does build up
Fair
a
enough.
little bit more heat, but it's very smooth, and you do get more of the chocolatiness.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And I didn't say nut on chest, so it's fine. Um, what about the white peach, though, David? No
Yeah, I
idea.
still don't know what white peach is. I
I,
have to Google what white.
I assume a white peach is emaciated peach. I assume. I have no earthly idea. If it's anything like white chocolate, I might like it. I just don't eat it.
It's a record company.
The hidden heir will claim his fortune in 17 years. Thus is written. Thus is law. Um, True. Yeah, that's possible. Simpable even. For now, though, no. My fortune is kind of worthless because the most expensive bottle I own was opened and shared with four other people, and will be again in the future,
Yeah.
no doubt. I do. There's one. I do want my dad to try it when I see him in March if he's here long enough. But I will tell him outright: you are not to do this with lemonade, please. It's too expensive. Don't be a knob. This is arguably the best whiskey I've got in my collection. Don't do me
Fair,
dirty.
knowing your dad, he'll be there long enough for a drink, even if he's there for like a day.
Off air, we'll talk about that. Isn't the fortune the friend's way of saying the friends you made along with? That's true. It's the thing about immortality, Ern. There's no such thing as physical immortality, but it's the message you leave behind for others with your name. So if you claim credit and just keep telling them to remind you of the name, they'll remember you. It's what we call the selfishness of Schrödinger, because if you know who Schrödinger is, he's a knob, and he named himself after so much in mathematics. He's a selfish git, yet you can't forget his name for a number of reasons, and obviously another more recent one, and I say more recent comparative to who he is, would have been Schrödinger's cat being mentioned in The Big Bang Theory. Everyone knows it because of him. But Schrödinger is a selfish dick, and he knows he is. When I got my maths book, and I've still got it under my desk here, I drew all over his face and wrote on it, because honestly, Pavlov started feeding his dog when he heard a bell? I think so, yes. Is Pavlov the guy who created Pavlova? Out of curiosity, as far as like you'd have like a bit of memory maybe with the jurors, back on topic as opposed to reading chat, where would you think this one would sit with all the jurors you have?
So it's definitely going to come in above the entry levels.
Yeah.
I would say above Origin.
Not hard to be above
I'm trying to
Origin,
think.
though, is it?
I have had the Jura 7 wood, which was very nice.
Oh, that was the medicine bottle of your set with the Lefroy Law, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I think probably if we include your ones as well, this would be below Tide and Time.
No offense intended, but nothing beats Tide and Time.
No,
You've had the 18, haven't
but
you?
I would
Because
say
bought you a
this
gig,
is
didn't
better than. Sorry?
I bought the 18. You've had the 18 before. I put it in
I have actually, yeah.
Yeah, I put it in Hip Flask for a gig, didn't I?
Yes.
I
Can't remember exactly that one,
Okay.
so I don't know.
Well, you can
But this is probably better than all the other ones that I've had or got.
sit the 16 at 2 for now, and obviously in the future we'll have to sort out another glass. I'm gonna say that I would put this at the bottom, but only because I can't quite. It's not bad, but of the other two, this one is harder for me to define with a food that I'm familiar with. My favourite pastry is a London cheesecake. I will know that flavour, okay? And the first thing when I tasted Night on Earth in Scotland with David, the first thing I said was, that tastes and smells like shortbread. And David agreed. And it was on the flavour notes as well, and I hadn't even seen them. I didn't know they were on the box.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most pronounced whiskies we've ever had in terms of that is this.
Yeah, although to be fair, I put it in my whiskey notes last night. I went to put in it's called Williamson, the whiskey is. But it's spelt Will.i.am's Isla son. So I'm going to quickly go to the whiskey shop and get it, and don't spoil it just yet. Let me get there first. Let's go with that. Williamson. There it is. Right, I'm going to put the bottle on the screen. There. Yeah, this is the bottle. It's Will.i.am Isla son, 9-year-old. It's an Isla single malt at 66%. Yes, I tried this, but it's bottled by a Brighton company called Cut Your Wolf Loose. So its full name is Will I Am Isla Sun Cutcha-Wolfleys. That's the full name of it, by the way. This is 297 bottles, but because of the name Will I Am, the way they've done it on purpose. But when David smelt the cork, the first thing he said was because of the distinctive smell, he went, "Oh, it's Lafroig." He's not.
There was just a cork lying on the side.
Yeah, we couldn't work out
There
what
were
it was, did
multiple
we?
bottles on the go. You
Yeah.
didn't know where it came from.
I couldn't
I
remember.
picked it up, sniffed it, and went, "That one's for Lafroig."
Yeah. This is, and this bottle, you can't get this one anymore, sadly, but I wish I could, because honestly, it's, yeah. But still, that was a thing, and it's one of the things where you can distinctively tell where something is. I'll link that in the chat for anyone interested in having a look at this, and I'll link these all. Is it? I put these in the bar. Yeah, I'll put it in the bar if you want to look at it. It is a potent whiskey, and 297 bottles. That is a hogshead. That's just a hogshead. That's one. It has to be a Lafroig as well, because it says in the it says that the unique peat notes are synonymous to only one Islay distillery. Yeah, because the one word that gives it away is a guarantee that it's Lafroig. It's a chemical in the bloody form it's iodine.
The iodine.
It's literally the letter I. Number 53. Come on. If you know your periodic table, you know that. I know my stuff. But yeah, no, iodine. Medicinal.
All of us have our pocket periodic tables to a hand, just pinned above our computer.
I mean, it's also the fact that I didn't. Oh yeah, no, I know it because it's.
You forgot you had that for a second, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I wasn't really thinking about that. But you know, is it number 53? It is. See, I told you I know my stuff. It's not my favourite element, though, just to be clear. Anyway, yeah, it's one of those very sort of. You can tell certain things from minor details. It's like picking up on a Johnny Walker Black. It doesn't matter. Don't even try me with what distinctive smell gives it away. You just know. It's just if after 10 to 12 bottles of it, you know. All right. Although it can be argued based on. Go on.
We've not got through a insignificant amount of that over the years, have we?
That was the FIFA go-to with Jamison, wasn't it, and Penderyn.
Yeah.
But the Johnny Walker Black thing was mostly you at your place, and then over the years, when we obviously didn't hang out for a long time, I just had it on the go anyway because it was so easy to get hold of. But I didn't have a collection, and yeah, I couldn't afford much either. I would say, like, in the grand scheme of where a lot of us now are, I'd say Bry might be included here because he doesn't buy cheap whiskey, right? Because you can say you do Bry, but I mean, in the sense of the ones you talk about, they're not cheap. Yeah. I'd say that where the normal person would say, like, Bells, Teachers, Grants, all that lot are shitski, right? They're good, right? And we call them shitski. What we consider quite our lowest end would be Johnny Walker Black and like all the Irish entry screw tops. Yeah, that's our entry level where we're comfortable with and where people should start, because don't give the shitskis any money. You're only encouraging them to continue producing shitski. I'm not okay with this. For as long as Jacobite exists, I will not be okay with this.
Well, this is something ominous.
Go on.
So in 2019, Jura released a Jura 13-year-old 212, which is the inaugural release in their 212 range, a series of annual limited edition bottlings. There's some words in there that don't seem to make sense, but I can't find any more of this. Only this one release.
That's like the distillery ones, isn't it?
Doesn't bode well for the new Perspectives series of bottlings, does it? The last one they did one.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, like the okay, so this might be where this will do okay. The nature of the whiskey industry has changed so much. Like, now look at what happened with the Fazila last year, and I couldn't get my hands on the Bunhaven 2. You flukily saw it, yeah,
True.
Right. And the Diageo special releases, some of them sold out in 2023 and before, but this year I can get my hands on all of them. Okay, I have, but I can get my hands on any of them.
You can have.
Shh. But you know what I mean, like in the sense of like 2024's Diageos aren't that popular. Yet there are a couple there that are bangers, and I would like a full bottle of Talisker, Singleton, Lagavulin. Actually, I'd say all of them. I want to open I want a bottle of the Kalila so I can open it. Unpeated Isla. Like, if there's one of those at the end of the year, I may get it for my dad for Christmas, just to keep that theme going.
We go back to the theme, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And Bri, you mentioned life's too short. Happily drink Bemore 12. That's totally fine. Honestly, I've got my 21 Aston Martin. That's my second most expensive bottle. I'm not opening it. I think I've made the decision that is a collection piece now, for the time being, until I'm old and grey and it's worthless, and I'll be like, well, I'm going out swinging, you know, because
Yeah,
excitable.
a bit more 12 is nice. I've got a bottle of that open. It's very nice whiskey.
Do I have any Bemore? I don't think I do beyond the Aston Martin one. I don't have Bemore. It's a
No, I
weird
don't
one.
really do, actually, no.
I really should get a bottle at some point, but it just hasn't. We still got the sample of the. You got the sample of the 18, haven't you?
Yes, I do, yes.
Yeah, we were supposed to have done that. Maybe I could order a sample of the 18. That could be something we do next on here. Get a couple of samples in and just do that. We'll work it out. Okay. Well, I'm going to finish my glass and see if it's worth a shot.
Yeah, because you can't do a age statement that holds because there isn't one. So
no, there isn't. But I can do a YOLO swag fam. So hang on. YOLO swag fam.
See how this one turns out in the shooting form.
Ooh, that is a rich and sweet taste. My top of my mouth burns, but only because it's exposed skin. Well, underneath it anyway. I burnt the bridge of my mouth on a pizza yesterday. Bridge of my mouth anyway. I burnt it on. I forgot that I bought a Chicago Town loaded pizza, and the crust was stuffed with tomato sauce. Oh yeah, that hurt.
Lava. Yeah, liquid lava.
I will never be doing that again. I also put chorizo and extra cheese on it. It burnt like a mother fluffer. That is a delightful, very sweet, very pronounced sweet pastry flavour. I would say if you can compare it to anything, it would be one of those fruit compote croissants from Pret. But it would be definitely a very not like grape can be just plain sweet, but this has a sharpness to it that isn't really something I'd associate with grapes. Didn't you have one as a stream whiskey? A Bemore? No, I haven't. I know exactly what whiskey. Budahaven I've had as a stream whiskey. That's the only B I think I've had. Not a Bemore, no. If I had, I'd have been very happy. That's a very nice. Yeah. Now I've given it a proper glug. Yeah.
Well, I have a small amount left, so I will YOLO swag fan mine as well and see how that goes.
Please do, and let us know. We're nearing the end anyway. It'd be good to know what you think. If anyone has any questions about these Balvenie, so David has a Balvenie. I traded my spare my only Balvenie with him for Penderyn actually. I think no, that was Lurkavulin. I traded the Balvenie with something else with him. Yeah. I
can't remember what that was.
In the future, I'll get a Bemore for streaming. Right now, we got 4 whiskies. The English is probably the nearest to going, next to the Kraken. So yeah, and I do have 2 whiskies ready to take their place. What do you think, David? Is a minor shot?
So that's quite a bit different as a shot. It's very citrusy.
Well, that's good, though, isn't it? Yeah.
That's mostly what you get from the shot, rather than. I didn't get too. I got a little bit in the taste, but not so much. There's not probably a huge amount of anything else. The spiciness or the heat isn't there on the shot, but it's still very smooth. It's very interesting. It is nice though.
Yeah. Is it? So I think mine might be more of a drinker, because to get a lot of what I find from the flavour that I can associate with food, but not as pronounced as the previous 2, I got more from having a decent glug. It wasn't really a shot. It was definitely a Dave sip, because my mouth hurts, so I can't do Meg sips or Dave sips properly. It may well be a case that once my mouth is healed, I'll come back to it. But this will be interesting to add notes to it. I don't know much about booze, Ern says, nor do we. I don't drink a lick. That's fair. Parents collect mainly bourbon. Nothing wrong with that. I like a jolly good bourbon myself. And I have no issue with bourbon in the slightest. I was going to buy a really expensive bourbon this year, actually, if they didn't have the Diageos in stock. They had a 25-year-old exclusive to the whiskey shop. It's called Way Down the Mountain, 25-year-old bourbon, and I was going to buy it and immediately open it. but the Diageos were in stock, and I was like, well, oh shit, I just lost 700 quid. Fair enough, or 800 or something. Like, fuck it, I'm having it. I don't care.
Yeah, they were a good bit of order in business.
They know we're good for it.
Yeah.
Next year, I'll see what I can do to their cabinet. Anyway, is there anything else we want to talk about here tonight?
No, I think that's probably it for those two, isn't it?
Okay, well, I'm going to end the recording in a second. We'll probably linger for a minute or two while I shut down. Thank you for joining us. This will be on YouTube and on Discord in the near future.
Yes.
Not
Thank
sure.
you to those of you who have joined us and collaborated in the chat.
Thank you. Yes, even Yempi with her beta tier heckling. I will. I'll obviously collab with David and try and work out when we can do another episode of Not Worth the Cork, and of course another episode of this. Work out what samples we can go to, if we have anything that can align that we can do together. Yeah, thanks. Do you want to say goodbye on that part at least?
Yeah. Goodbye, people.